Welcome to the Photographer Diaries podcast. I'm your host, David Scott Bowles.
And I am your co-host, Dragon.
And on today's episode, we're talking about pricing and why you should price yourself appropriately and when you should change your prices or adapt to prices around you. I feel like this is going to be a really controversial topic, and there was a recent recent events that had happened recently that we might talk about, maybe not, but let's get into it. So, Dragon, what's up? How you doing today?
Up, man? You know,
good.
Just came back from sending out prices.
Oh yeah, from that El Capitan shoot or no?
El Capitan, you said no, man. Yeah, no. I think today's episode is going to be great because this is something that's talked about a lot in our industry because it's like a double-edged sword here between raising your prices and working towards your market. And so let's get into it today. It's a lot. We could break it down. We could talk about this forever, but we're going to try to keep it in, 30 minutes, 20 minutes?
Exactly. And this episode is actually sponsored by nobody.
Yet.
I like that. Yeah. See, great minds think alike. That was cool. So yeah, today is all about pricing, guys. And honestly, like, pricing can be tough because honestly, it really depends on your market, what you're shooting, how long you've been shooting,
location,
things that I feel like that are unnecessary to factor in your pricing. Right. So there's actually, I was just watching a video on pricing right now because there's all this like talk about pricing with inflation and things going up and just like where you're at. And I'll give you a little backstory of what made us talk about this topic. So I'm in a photography group local to our area, and a photographer had posted something from another photographer who is from Santa Clarita who shoots luxury brands. And he posted this thing, and I'm just going to shout him out because maybe I'll get him on the podcast one day. He's a really good photographer. He's Michael Anthony. He's from Santa Clarita, does like high-end luxury fashion photography. Okay. And, or not fashion, but like high-end weddings and a bunch of other stuff. Like he doesn't only shoot weddings.
Okay.
But I talked to this guy like multiple times about different things, and he has like education courses and all this stuff. And he posted this thing on social media the other day about basically if you shoot one session for $250 5 times a day for a year, as a photographer, you would make less than a McDonald's employee. And the thing is one, I don't think anybody's doing that. And if they are, they probably just started out. They're probably getting their feet wet, and they're probably learning how to price appropriately, and or maybe it's just a side hustle. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. It does suck for us professional photographers, but you got to start somewhere.
No, for sure. You can't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to charge $700 for a photo.
Oh, yeah,
shoot.
exactly.
It just doesn't have it that way.
Nope. And then, so this got posted in this group that I'm in, and I commented back and was basically honest. Like, where we live in a suburb of LA. We're the farthest north county of LA.
Right past us is Kern.
Yeah, like we are the last of we're the last of LA County.
Yep, outskirts of LA County.
Most people don't even know that we are part of LA. No. And so to give you guys context, if you're just listening to the show or if you have never heard of us, don't know where we're from, we live outside of LA in a town called Antelope Valley, Lancaster, Palmdale. That's like the area. Right. And it's like saying Orange County. Anaheim is Orange County, etc. And so we live in this town, and I'm going to be honest, it's a shithole. Like, it really is. Like, there's comedians that make jokes about it. Shout out Trevor Wallace.
Right.
But
yeah, man, it's just our market isn't as high out here.
Yeah, it's not. And it's not only just for what we do, but it's really for everything.
For everything.
There's only a few handful like of nice restaurants out here that can charge, I
wouldn't even say handful.
There's like two, maybe like two or three.
Right.
And we're a community full of nothing but chain restaurants,
storage
facilities, mom and pop like Mexican restaurants, which is a good thing. But even these places, like, they're all cheap. They're affordable for the people that live out here.
No, of course.
the medium threshold of what a normal family makes out here is about $60,000 to $65,000 a year. Granted, there are a few companies, or there's a few families that might make a little more. Maybe they live on the base out here, or they work for Northrop, and they're making significantly more than that. But that is like the threshold is about $60,000
for sure.
And I'm gonna turn my phone on vibrate or silent real quick.
It's all right. It's all right. Shit did it before, but
I know. I'm already getting text messages. I'm like, I don't want to get a phone call. I just answered on the podcast, like, huh?
Hey,
but
anything goes on the Photographer Diaries.
Yeah. So I want to kind of go back to the conversation. So what I had said is basically like, we don't have the luxury of being an Antelope Valley photographer charging our worth.
Yeah. No.
Of what like our worth would be in LA, right? Yeah. And this photographer, I'm going to be honest, and maybe she hears this or not, but I feel like I was attacked, and not just by her, but everybody else, because there was a lot of people in there saying the opposite. But then I got a lot of personal DMs from other photographers and a couple other people chiming in saying that I'm absolutely right. And it's really true, because if you look at all these forms on our, and this is kind of counterintuitive, but if you look at the forums, like, you go on fucking, what's it called? All the community pages on Facebook, right? Yeah. So every time you see anybody going like, looking for a photographer for my wedding, my budget's $500. Like they literally are tagging all the same photographers. It's always the same group of people that charge that like super, super low budget.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely not.
Yeah. And it's like, I've been tagged in a few of those, and I'm going to be honest, like I have maybe reached out to them, and I've usually negotiated my rate up higher than what they wanted, because I know my worth, but I'd give them a package that makes sense. Like, for instance, this just actually happened yesterday. A photographer was looking for, or not a photographer, a girl was looking for a photographer for her wedding. She's getting married in Little Rock, which is another really shitty town. Shittier than Lancaster.
Man, you can't bash every city out here, bro.
Okay. Right. I like Lancaster.
We have our own unique feng shui out here. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
We have our own little. It's like dirt, but
like dirt.
We make it beautiful.
Dirt. Crackheads.
But it's definitely not inner city for sure. It's definitely not inner city at all. No. So you definitely can't go out there and just say,
no,
hey,
we have, we have our pros and cons. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
We have our pros and cons, and one of our cons is you can't charge your worth.
No, you can't. And I always tell people, I adjust mine if I can, and if it makes sense, whether it's sense or sense. Like, you really got to think about it. No one out here can do. I'm not going to say anyone, but it's very rare that you find somebody out here that will definitely pay your full price. Yeah,
exactly. And here's the thing too, is like, my wife kind of hit this on the head when we were having this conversation, is it's better than no money, right?
Yeah,
Some money is better than no money.
If you're not going to work that day, like, you don't have anything in there, like, of course, something out here that you can knock out right down the street. It usually doesn't take that long. And you could get it done that day. Like, it happens all the time. Exactly. Everything that I do out here, I could finish it that day.
Yep.
It's never anything grand out here. So that's why I don't mind lowering my price, because it's nothing super grand going on out here.
And for me, like, there's always like a factor with like wedding just photography in general, that like, time is money and this and this and that. But to be honest with you, like, I have never, and this could be holding me back or whatever, like you want to say, this could be, maybe hindering some of the money that I make, but I've never factored in the back end of my work into my pricing. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because the back end of my work doesn't really affect the overall of everything. Because one, I'm super fast with turnaround time.
If anybody knows David, he will have at least like, half your wedding done the same day. Like,
and the thing is like, so factoring in that time is, to me, just doesn't make sense.
For sure.
And I'll touch on this a little later in the podcast after we lose this topic. But so we're kind of going back and forth, and I got some people that said like, you're right, and I think that there's a right time to lower your prices,
Oh,
and
definitely.
there's a time where you should keep your prices the same. What you have to be careful of is lowering your prices to every budget customer that comes along the way and giving them the same deliverables that you're giving your clients that are paying full price.
Right.
And that's what you really need to be careful of, is because if the person who paid your full price of $3,000
see that, hear about it,
exactly, and was like, oh well, why didn't they get that same package for $1,750?
Yeah, you definitely don't do that.
Exactly. So those are things that you have to watch out for. Like with me, if I ever lower my price, I'm usually lowering the deliverables.
Oh yeah, no, you have to.
Yeah, it
like
makes
I said,
sense.
and then out here, most of the time, like I said, it's nothing really big.
Most people out here, they want a few photos and they want like a gallery. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to charge you $2,000 for that. I'm going to charge you $1,000 for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure.
And those are just random numbers, not what I charge. But for instance, January is a slow month in with the wedding season out here. It starts to pick up a little bit towards the end, February, whatever. So January, I ran a crazy $150 headshot special. My headshots normally cost $450 just to walk in the door. That doesn't even include images. So I said, look, $150, you get 3 images, minimal retouching. You want any photo after is $25.
Right.
My normal fee is $450 to walk in the door, and then $100 per image you choose. So that's a crazy cut in what I make, right? But I already knew that going into January, I wasn't going to have weddings.
Right.
I wasn't going to have income coming in. So I needed to adjust and make that work, right?
And you have to be able to pull an audible.
Yeah,
because
all the time.
we have slow seasons. And if you just, I know my worth, I'm not going to do anything unless it's this, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm missing out by adjusting my prices with the time or with the customer.
Yep.
I feel like I'm cheating myself when I'm not working, when I'm not trying to get work.
Yeah.
So you have to choose your battle. You can't just say, you shouldn't lower your price, because I'm pretty sure somebody has lowered a price or done more for somebody else. So I'll try to give add-ons. Before I lower my price, I try to give add-ons. Okay, this is my price for 2 hours. Boom, you can't do that. Oh, it's too high. All right, how about I'll do this for 3 hours, same price. So I try to do add-ons so that I'm not really lowering my prices at first, because sometimes if they feel like they're getting more, they'll see the value in it.
Yeah. The thing is let's be honest, everybody lowers their price at one point. And if you say you don't, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah,
like
for family, for somebody. You have done it for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying, like, it could be a small lower. And the thing is, too, it's like, even when you go and do a bridal show, you usually run a special. Like, I'm doing a bridal show this weekend. I'm offering the first 5 people 20% off my packages.
There it is.
You know what I mean? Like, that's lowering my prices. But the thing is I will make that up with the volume that I do.
Yep.
And that's the thing too, is a lot of people hate on the cheap photographers. But going back to what I said earlier, when you look at those community pages, who's getting tagged? The cheap photographers, which means they're doing volume. Volume photography is a thing. Volume photography is cheaper. Does the person work harder and shoot more? Of course. Yeah. They probably have a very low cost of doing business. They probably don't have a studio or an office. They work from home. They probably have one camera, and it's probably a side hustle as well. They probably don't even pay like legitimate taxes on their shit either. But people do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it happens.
Start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere. When I first started out and I started making money, I mean, I shot for the first maybe year without really knowing that, oh shit, I need a business license. I need this, I need that. And then once I started accruing those, my prices went up. Once I got a studio, my prices went up.
Yeah, you what's the word? I was just looking at this where you start at your base.
Yeah.
And then you use that base to fund your next level.
Yep.
So yeah, you're, like I said, you're not going to wake up one day and just have 6 figures making this. So you have to go from, I started from doing the free to doing, maybe money here and there because people like seeing my work. But you have to, I was always incorporating free work because I needed a portfolio. I need to show off what I did.
Yep.
So then it goes from that to, okay, this is my set price. Now and then, a lot of times when you get into this, you don't know what you should be charging.
Yeah.
You know, you don't understand your worth at that time. Like, that takes time to understand
Yeah.
that. So it's always levels, but I'm not afraid to drop down sometimes if it makes, you know.
So I just watched a video on Peter Hurley on pricing, and Peter Hurley is like one of the best, if not the best, headshot photographer in. Wow, that's what happens.
I think it's coming in here. Welcome to the Antelope Valley.
Right? Yeah. See, did you guys hear that plane? Like, that's our studio. That happens sometimes. So that was the first time it happened during the podcast, though. So
I know.
But Peter Hurley is an amazing headshot photographer, and he was talking about pricing and how basically like you should be scared of your prices. And the thing is, when he said that, like, it almost triggered me because like even my pricing now, like when I tell people my pricing, like my gut sinks. And it's like I'm strategically priced in our area, right underneath a photographer, and I'm still like, when I tell people my base price, I'm like, fuck, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because think about it. Like, you're charging $3,000 for, that's my base wedding package for 6 hours. That's a lot of money an hour. Granted, like, you know, there is some cost of doing business. I do pay seconds sometimes, but like my base package is $3,000, and that's just for me. I don't usually bring a second on that package.
No, for sure.
So that package is 90% profit. The only thing that's really going back into it is like the deliverables that I get my clients. But when he said like, yeah, you should be scared of your prices, I'm like, fuck, like, okay, then I guess I'm doing it right because I'm scared of my prices already.
No, for sure.
So yeah, I mean,
and you have a market.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
And you think about it, the weddings that you would pay $500 for and the weddings that you would pay $5,000 for, completely different.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So you have a market, and that's why I said, like, you have to price based on who you're going for.
Yep.
Because you can't say, okay, I'm in shanty town and I want to charge $1,500 for headshots. It's not going to happen. And people that's out in our area, most of them with high prices aren't working out here that much.
No, exactly. And the thing is, like, even touching on that, like, going back to like headshots, right? Like, there's a lot of people out here in the Antelope Valley that need professional headshots. There are not a lot of photographers out here that specialize in headshots. There's maybe that I could think of the top of my head. There's maybe 3 photographers out here, me, 2 others that do headshots. And the thing is, I know one guy. I know he's pricey, and he doesn't probably book a lot of headshots. I'm like right underneath him again, and the thing is that when I tell people my headshot pricing, they're like, really? That's so much money. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. You don't want to pay that?
I thought they cost. I like that one.
Yeah.
I thought they cost. No, you didn't do your research.
I had a girl that wanted me to shoot her headshots. I told her about my special. I said 125. It goes to January 31st. It's 125, 3 images, minimal retouch, 24-hour turnaround time. She's like, 125? Well, my friend does it for 150 and I get 50 images.
All right, well, go to your friend.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh man, I've had people come to me for videos and then you tell them the price and like, well, my friend, I'm like, so why did you hit me up?
Exactly. Well,
because you like my work, right? So apparently you didn't like your friend's work because you could have went there.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's just, you know, I don't know. It's crazy. Like, you can't price yourself at an LA rate because one, look, and I think I've talked about this before on the earlier seasons of this before Dragon is
blessed this podcast.
There are photographers out there that charge like $10,000 and up for their wedding packages. I think Michael Anthony might even be one of them.
On film.
Yeah. My company, we just started offering film, and it's an add-on, and we charge $2,500 for it, which basically $500 of that, actually about $250 goes into buying the film, and then probably about another $250 goes into getting the film developed. And then
is prints included into that?
No prints on that, but yet. I mean, get the scans back and then I send them to
Oh,
digitals.
gotcha.
Um, but I'll probably include like the negatives, like just say like, hey,
Oh
if you
yeah,
want to go
yeah,
and
yeah.
redo them. But yeah, some people charge that, and it's like, I think I've said this before. And people are like, you're crazy. I'm like, I don't think I ever want to be a $10,000 wedding photographer. And people were like, why? You don't want to make that kind of money? I was like, no, I don't want that kind of responsibility.
Yeah, no, it's a little different.
I
And
charge.
that comes with pricing high. Like you gotta understand, if somebody is paying that much, they're on your ass.
Yeah, they are.
Like
I did
I
my
want everything
yep.
perfect,
I did
and I
my
understand that.
dude. I did my first $10,000 wedding last year. It was just under 10 grand. It was like literally like 9 something and some change. And it was grossly undercharged because it was an Indian wedding, 3 days, and I did photo and video for it. And everybody I talked to was like, dude, you should have charged like 20 grand
Wait,
for that.
how many days?
3 days.
Oh, damn.
So
wait.
But the first day was only 4 hours. The second day was 6 hours, and the last day is like the main day.
Okay, I see.
But the thing is I told the bride, this was our first Indian wedding for our company. I've shot a few with other companies, but for our brand, this was our first one.
Mm-hmm.
So when I spoke to the bride and the groom, I said, hey, guys, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I haven't shot like a full on Indian wedding by myself with my company. I've done it with other companies, but I'm giving you a special rate. And I was very upfront about like the pricing, broke it down to them and was like, this is a special price. So when you refer me, please don't tell them the price because this is a special price for you guys.
Like, I'm doing this for you. If anybody else asks, triple it.
And like it's actually really important to do that because, like especially with Indian weddings, like you get booked, you'll get a wedding from it, which we did. We ended up getting another wedding from it, and they paid $6 grand for it. This is a $6 grand wedding, and because they got photo and video.
One day?
Huh?
1 day for this one?
This is a 1 day. It's not an Indian wedding. It's just a regular old, I think it's like a Hispanic couple and I think mixed multicultural, but it should be really fun. Couple is honestly really awesome. We met them at the wedding. They had a blast, and then I just did a consult with them. But, from the Indian weddings, you'll get them. And like I told my bride straight up, I was like, please don't tell people the pricing because I can't sell this package again. I think I lost money on that. Even though it was a $9,000 wedding, I ended up losing a little bit of money on it.
Well, yeah, because it was $9,000. And it was a big ass wedding. So yeah, you definitely should have went up on that one.
Like I paid my second shooter like $1,750. That was Fareed. I basically
shout out Fareed, that's my guy.
So I basically bought his new camera for him, and then
next Indian wedding, hey.
And then
sorry Fareed.
And then I had another second shooter. It was funny actually. Never even used his images. I just noticed that I never delivered his images, and I told the bride, I was like, "Oh my god, I have more photos to send you. I'm so sorry." We had over 15,000 photos that we had to go through.
Yeah, you undercharged.
Yeah, I did. I know. The thing is, I know that I undercharged.
Yeah, that's why you said, "Don't tell anyone my pricing." So yeah,
and it was definitely a learning experience, and I knew that I was undercharging. I knew that I was going to make minimal money off of it, but it goes into one of those things where you need to know when to do that. For me, it was a portfolio thing. I wanted to add multicultural Southeast Asian weddings into my feed, so I wasn't going to charge 20 grand and fuck it up and not be able to deliver. Which the thing is, we killed it. Like we did such a good job.
I've seen some of the images. They're fire, man.
We did such a good job. They love their film. They love their photos. We've literally become friends with them now. And we like the dad was straight up because she has like 3 sisters, and dad was like, next wedding. I was like, yeah, we got this.
Oh, so yeah, that's how you do it. I always that's what I like. It seems like honestly, when I've lowered my price, I've gotten the job off of it.
Exactly.
Because they understand. Because I always communicate.
Yeah.
I always communicate that, okay, this is my prices. You know what? How about I do this for you? Boom, boom, boom. And then I let them know, like, I'm working with you here.
Yeah.
So they respect that. They understand that. And like you said, you can't do that for everyone.
No.
I don't do it for everyone.
Not at all.
I'm very choosy when I do that. When sometimes if the person is really great, you can see like they're really trying and stuff, like you could get the vibes and everything. So I adjust accordingly because if you do that, they'll run around. I've had some, oh, I heard you charge this for that. Oh, no, who told you that? Like, I've never done that. Even when I charged my full price, somebody went and told somebody like, oh yeah, I paid cheaper. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, the thing is though too is prices change in
everything.
In
you see
everything.
eggs?
We're not talking about eggs today on the show, okay? We save that for another podcast. But prices change, dude, and it's like you shouldn't be doing it all the time, but there is a right time to do it. There is a like when your market makes a big impact on what you can charge. I feel like I am literally priced almost outside of my market for the Antelope Valley right now, which to me is fine because I don't shoot a lot out here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Most of my weddings are Orange County, LA, San Diego, Temecula, stuff like that.
And you're cheap in those areas.
Exactly. And that's the thing is I'm cheap in those areas. So I do need to raise my prices for those areas. I feel like I am at the beginner level prices for
sure.
Those
your resume definitely says way more.
Yep.
If you look at your, like, check out his, say your Instagram.
David, Hayden and Harlow, at Hayden and Harlow. I'll put it somewhere right here. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put it right there.
Because based on your resume, that's what I had to look at too. When I didn't raise my prices and people was like, bro, look at your page.
Yeah.
Look at the work that you're doing. Like, there's no way you should be charging that low.
Yep.
I had a friend hit me up and say, oh, how much you charge for BTS? I have a video coming up. Oh, bro, for you, man, I'll do that for $350. He was like, no. He said, I'm gonna give you 5-6, and that's the homie price. Like, don't ever go below that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not that long. And, you know, I like working with you. Like, we do a lot of stuff. He's like, no, bro, don't do that. So that made me step back. Like, I like having those people around me, too.
Oh, yeah,
because
100%.
People will say, bro, you should not be charging that. So it's that validation that sometimes you need to know, okay, I need to increase this more. Because what people are really charging and providing less quality, I'm starting to notice that a lot. So
dude,
why not raise my prices?
Exactly.
It's horrible out here sometimes. The community we have, bro, it's a little weird.
It is a little weird, dude. It is a little
weird. It's almost as weird as the lizard game.
You know, it sucks because like we're trying to build a community out here, and everyone wants to be about say this whole community over competition, but everyone's fucking competing out here. It is what it is.
That's always been a big problem out here.
You know, and it's like if we weren't competing, then when somebody posts on on one of those Facebook forums, I need a photographer, the first person that comments should be the person that gets the job, not every other fucking person on there that's being like, I'm available, because then that right there is automatically competing against your community.
When someone tags me or something, I just say thanks.
Yeah, me too.
That's it. Whether I get it or not, thanks for thinking about me.
Usually I do,
and I'll tag other photographers in there. I do that faithfully. I'll let you know. I'll tag anybody that I know do that style of whatever they're looking for. Because sometimes people will tag you in something and it's not your style. It's not what
all
you
the
do.
time.
I'm not just going to take it. I'd rather give it to somebody that I know that does that. So
exactly. I mean, I've been tagged in like some newborn stuff and like stuff like that I don't like to shoot or that I don't shoot in general. And I'll just be like, thanks for the tag, but I don't do that. And I'll tag like Christina from Milo Moments or somebody else that does it well, because not that I can't do it, but I just don't do it and don't want to do it. Like,
I'm like that on like events. I don't like to do birthday parties and anniversaries and stuff like that. Like, I'll shoot a wedding with you, but I tell you all the time, somebody will hit me up for a wedding. I'm like, hey Dave, you want this wedding? I'll be your second shooter, man. They hit me up, but I know that that's not my strong suit, and I want my work to be presented at the best. Yeah. So I'd rather pass it to you and then ride with you. You know, knock it out that way. So I'm big on that, bro. That's that teamwork right there.
I feel that. All right, we're just hitting 30 minutes right now, so we are going to sign off on this one.
Like I said, it could have went on, but we try to keep it in the time frame.
Yeah, I think we hit every good point as far as pricing. Oh yeah, actually, there's something I didn't want to talk about now. We'll finish up with this. So there is a guy out there. Fuck, I'm gonna find his Instagram real quick because I'm gonna butcher his name. He. Oh, it'd help if my phone was on.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I put it on airplane mode. All right, so there is. My phone is like tripping right now. All right, so there's a guy on Instagram that, yeah, it's like Instagram won't even load. And I have clients texting me. Okay, good thing that I do not edit this, right, guys? If you're watching, you probably turned off already. Yeah. I swear.
I heard what I need to hear.
Yeah, he's like, up, done. Raise prices, got it. Okay, there we go. Jay Long. He is a creative business and mindset coach. He's from Australia, I believe, or somewhere over there. Damn, I knew I was gonna get a call. And he posted something yesterday, basically giving like a breakdown of pricing and what it costs to get your client in the door, what it costs to deliver the products, and what your end is. And it was funny because when he made his post, I watched it a few times. Like, this doesn't make sense because what you said was, I don't know. It was just confusing. It was so confusing. I can't even explain it right now. But basically, he said that it costs an average of $1,000 to get your client in the door. And I didn't agree with it because he's basing that off his time. And that, like, he's saying that, like, all the time that he has spent into Instagram and into all these other things cost him $1,000 to basically pull in a client. Then you get the client, right? You book them. Say it's a $3,000 wedding. You book the client for $3,000, and then you already have lost $1,000 from getting in, so you're $2,000 into it now. Then your deliverables are probably somewhere close to like $500. Maybe you're paying a second shooter. That's another $500. You're only making $1,000 off this wedding, plus taxes and everything else. Bringing that down, like I think profit was like $500 per $3,000 wedding, and I was like, that doesn't make sense to me, because to me it doesn't feel like it doesn't cost me $1,000 to bring a client in the door. It doesn't cost me anything to sit at a computer, answer some emails, or be on my phone. Like I've literally gotten clients like just being on my phone. Yeah, that doesn't cost me shit. You know what I mean? So like to me it doesn't make sense. But he's trying to, yeah, exactly. And that's what he's saying, that all the time that you've put into like getting referrals and getting this and getting that, because he's trying to say that like time is money. But if this is all you do, I don't agree with that, right? Like I feel like it doesn't cost me anything to send an email back to somebody like, oh yeah, sure, I have the date open, let's do it. Right. Oh, set up a consultation call.
$12 right there for that email.
Exactly. Set up a consultation call. Like talk to them real quick, and then get them, book them. Like that literally actually doesn't cost me money. If you're trying to say like, oh well, your time is valuable and this and this and that, if you're putting $1 on your time, then sure, it costs you money. But I don't put $1 on my time when on the back end like that, because
me either, because I don't do this for money. I make money doing this.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
That's just how it is. You can't just I don't know. I used to say that too when they used to break it down in school, like, and then it takes you about 3 days to edit this. So you think about that in money, you should be getting paid this much an hour. Like, it may take you 3 days to do it. It may take me 2 hours to do it. You know, like, and you know, it's just a lot, bro. So.
It is. But all right, let's wrap this one up.
Adjust your prices accordingly. That's what we got to over here. Don't be afraid to lower your prices on occasions. Like you said.
Yep.
Narrow down deliverables. Don't do the same thing. You know, adjust your package to your pricing.
Yep.
Period. You can't have the same price everywhere. Period.
Exactly.
We're in there.
Recap. Guys, remember, it's okay to be the cheap budget photographer in the start. It's okay to lower your prices when it makes sense. And, you know, it's okay to know your market and know your worth in your market. Sure. Don't try to charge something crazy that's not in your market, because you're not going to book as much. sure, you might make more dollars on that 1 or 2 bookings that you make, but what are you going to do for the rest of the time in between that? You're going to spend more money than you're going to make because you're going to have so much time to kill because you're not booking shoots. So find a right price that works for you and stick to that price. When you're not getting booked on that price, come down just a little bit, or offer specials, or offer monthly specials, or whatever it is. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you're listening to us on Spotify or any place you get your podcasts, go ahead and leave a review, write a comment, all that stuff. It really helps us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. That definitely helps out. Share the podcast with your friends, guys. This was a long one today, but there's obviously a lot to talk about. And there's a lot of different ways to do business. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Just do it. And that's it.
What works for you.
Yeah. What works for you. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Podcast. I'm your host, David Scott Bowles.
And I am your...
You are what?
I am the co-host, Drake. Sorry, long day, everyone.
Oh, do that. Bro. One more time. We're going to put all these outtakes in the end of this one. This was funny. Rough day podcasting. I was trying to stop right now I was just trying to stop the audio on the keyboard, but it's from here. And I was like,